All right, hello there, welcome back to another wee bit of video. Today's video, we are going to do an NFL playoff bracket 2024 playoffs edition. Now, if you're not familiar with Bracket Fight, which is what this site is, basically you just take a bracket, pick the teams that are going to win tournament style. And since the NFL is a little bit different than a traditional tournament style in that their seedings affect, who moves up next, I'll be sure to adjust it as we go, based off of the seedings that I have on the right of me on my handy dandy tablet. Shout out to my girlfriend for buying me this thing. It helps a lot with these videos. But anyway, just to go through some of the matchups we got, we have Buffalo and Steelers, Chiefs and Dolphins, Browns, Texans, Cowboys, Packers, Lions, Rams, Buccaneers, Eagles, and of course the division winners get home advantage. And then the Ravens and Niners, since they both won their conference in terms of record, they are at a first round bye. Okay, so first matchup here, we got Buffalo versus Pittsburgh. And in all honesty, I have a bias in wanting the Pittsburgh Steelers to win. And let me clarify why I have a bias, because no, I'm not a Pittsburgh Steelers fan. But before the season started, I had 5 free bets on Sportsbook, and I placed the 5 free bets on Super Bowl winning football teams, and Steelers were one of them. Now, some of you might be asking why the Steelers and not other teams. Well, because I just threw 5 random bets, to be honest. In all honesty, I don't think there's any way the Bills lose this game unless Josh Allen just turns the ball over way too much, or Bills basically just shoot themselves in the foot. Big reason why is even with the Bills and Dolphins game, that game shouldn't have been close. The Bills offensively just looked like the way better team, and the only way that they really cost themselves blowout, because it could have been a blowout, is they just weren't making the plays that they needed to in the right moments. And it's not just not making the plays, but it's crucial plays. For example, James Cook dropping a touchdown, and then the Bills proceeding to literally not close out the half with any points. First drive from the Bills, Josh Allen throwing a pick, not on the same page with Gabe Davis. There's just a lot of things that the Bills need to clean up on, but they're just way more explosive. Steelers, again, I have a bias towards, but if TJ Watt is out especially, I have a hard time imagining the Steelers can win this game, especially considering how good Buffalo D has been. So, of course, we're going to pick Buffalo to win and move on to the next matchup. We got the Chiefs and the Dolphins. About my bias, yeah, the Dolphins was another team I threw a free bet on. Now, do I think the Dolphins will win? God, no. They're away. They're even worse when they're on the road. And the Chiefs, as wildly inconsistent as they've been, I think they're way more consistent than the Dolphins, whom just have a tendency to lose to winning record teams, especially since all the injuries they're facing. Jalen Phillips, Nick Chubb, Jalen Waddle, Raheem Mostert, and probably more, let's be honest. But I really don't see any way that the Chiefs would lose this game unless Tua decides to flip the script and have a game, because he really hasn't shined in the brightest of moments. It seems like the lights are too bright for him, at least early in his career. There's still a lot of time for him to get things right, but it's going to be tough to beat the Chiefs. So I'm going to go ahead and go with the Chiefs. Next up, we have Browns and Texans, and in all honesty, I don't see how the Browns can lose this game. Their defense is just way too good. And actually, you know what? Scratch that. The only way I think they can lose this game is that if Joe Flacco's interceptions eventually catch up to him. As good as he's been in terms of passing yards, interceptions have been absolutely killing him, throwing way too many. I think that is the only way the Browns can lose this game, is if, again, his interceptions catch up to him. As potent as Texans offense is, as awesome as CJ Stroud is, it's just too much of a task to be put against such an elite defense and try to keep up with what the Browns offense is going to do, because Texans defense is not great. They're very vulnerable. DeMeco Ryans, as great as he is, it's just too early, right? It's just too early to expect anything. And the Browns offense is going to eat. The Browns defense is going to do more than enough. I think the Browns win this by 2+ possessions. But I will say this. The only way the Texans can win is if Joe Flacco's interceptions catch up to him. Moving forward with the Browns here, though. Next up, we have... Okay, so that's not how I would actually go. Because NFL, the highest seeded team plays the lowest seeded team. So the Ravens would actually play the Browns, funny enough. and the Bills would play the Chiefs if, this is how it went, according to my prediction. And then I would, of course, take the Ravens. No, I know the Browns are really good, but the Ravens to me are like the most complete team in the NFL, from offense to defense to even special teams. Like, the Ravens are such a complete team, and especially at home. So all in all, I am going to go with the Ravens, but here we got Chiefs and Bills. I am going to go with the Bills here. I think the Chiefs are very, very lackluster. They lack a crap ton of offensive prowess right now. Too many drops from their receivers. And Buffalo, as long as they don't beat themselves, I don't think there's a team that can beat them aside from the Ravens in this conference. So we're going to head and go with Buffalo here. And then Ravens and Buffalo, I am going to go with Ravens. I do have a bias because I did place that free bet on the Ravens. But let me say this. If there's any team that Buffalo's D just can't stop, it's going to be a team like Baltimore, because Lamar Jackson, he's going to be the MVP. You can't stop a player whom you have to stop two facets of his game, which is one, the passing game, which is a traditional quarterback passing game. But then two, the scrambling game. You have to stop him and his rushing yards and all that he can do. And even if you put a spy on him, putting a spy on Lamar Jackson is just not enough. It's going to be really, really hard to stop that guy. And with guys like Zay Flowers, Odell Beckham being super explosive and looking to be ready to go for this matchup, I really think the Bills are going to have a hard time. And then defensively, if there's one team in this conference who I truly believe is like, damn, they're going to put a hamper on the Bills, it could be the Browns defense. It could be, but I think more definitively it is the Ravens defense, because, look what they did with the Niners, the Dolphins. It's just, they are on a whole nother level right now. I'm going to go with the Ravens. Working our way up to the NFC side, we got the Bucks and the Eagles. Personally, I think this is the perfect matchup for the Eagles because it gives them the chance to right the ship against a team that is 9-8. Granted, the Eagles are like 1-5 in their last 6 games. They've been terrible. But I think Jalen Hurts in the playoffs, and then bringing back, their starters, DeAndre Swift especially, getting a bit of a running game going, but also relying more on Devonta Smith and A.J. Brown. I think they'll do enough, and Buccaneers' offense isn't too potent to where they'll punish the Eagles. I think it'll be like a 28-24 kind of game, 31-24 kind of game. I think the Eagles will pull it out in the end because, for one, they're just more experienced in those moments. They've done it before. As vulnerable as the Eagles look, I will say I will still pick them ahead of the Buccaneers. Next up, we have the Rams and the Lions. This is such a spicy matchup. Sean McVay versus his former quarterback, Jared Goff. Detroit Lions versus Matthew Stafford, former quarterback for that organization. I'm going to pick the Lions, though. I think they're more ready for the moment. They have a more complete squad in terms of defense and offense. I think the only way the Rams can really win is if Matthew Stafford has a field day. And I'm talking not 2 touchdowns. I'm talking like 3 touchdowns, 300 plus passing yards. And the defense needs to be able to stop Jared Goff, Jahmyr Gibbs, Amon-Ra St. Brown, guys like that. Now, Sam Laporta being out is a big deal for the Lions, but I'm going to take the Lions. Cowboys and Packers. I'm a Cowboy fan, but even if I wasn't, Cowboys are winning this game. A home game. Mike McCarthy's playing his former team, so that's a headline, but Cowboys at home are just so unreal. So unreal, and I really don't think the Packers can really stop Dallas's D. I think their defense is just nowhere near good enough, and then Cowboys D at home especially is just going to do so good. So I think Dallas should win by 2+ possessions. They might choke a little bit in the moment to make it closer than it should be, but Dallas should win this game. And because of seeding, the Eagles would play the Niners, so that is correct, and the Lions would play the Cowboys. So let's get into the Eagles and Niners. This is the perfect chance for the Niners. Whoa. Okay, let's work with the Cowboys and Lions first. I think the Lions are going to be looking to get their revenge here, but I just don't think it's going to be enough. Reason being is Cowboys are undefeated at home, but I also have a huge Omega bias. So take this prediction with a grain of salt. I just can't help but say the Cowboys are too good of a team at home, and we've seen this before. I think Cowboys will be more ready beforehand, and I think their offense will be better this time around. And then, like I said, the Niners and Eagles, I think this is the perfect time for the Niners to get their revenge in this exact spot. Or maybe it was the conference. Yeah, it was the conference championship last time around, I believe. But anyway, this is the perfect time for the Niners to get their get back. considering that they really want to knock out the Eagles. They already beat them in the regular season. That game was also really, really competitive in terms of fighting, literally. But the Niners offense is just too consistent. Their defense is going to do just enough. I think they can definitely blow out the Eagles as long as Brock Purdy stays on track, as long as they don't try to do too much. But unlike the Eagles, their offense is just so consistent, always delivering time and time and time again. Receivers are always open. Brandon Ayuk, Deebo Samuel, Christian McCaffrey, George Kittle, guys like that just being ready to go. Niners, I'm definitely taking over the Eagles. And why are the Cowboys here? Okay. And then we got the Cowboys and Niners. And to be honest, as much of a Cowboy fan as I am, the Niners will be at home and the Cowboys away are just god awful. Like, they're 4-4 on the season and they've lost to the likes of Arizona. So that just shows you how competent we can be when we're on the road. As much as I want the Cowboys to win this game, I really, really, really do. I don't think there's a chance in hell they can beat the Niners unless Brock Purdy decides to show his inexperience, show his youth, and throw interceptions and give us the game. But other than that, I don't see a way the Cowboys can win. They would have to be heavily dependent on their defense to force turnovers because our offense, oh gosh, on the road, we're just no. Then I have the Ravens versus the Niners. What the hell? Okay, boom, Niners. And then, yeah, Ravens versus the Niners. This one, to me, we've seen it before. Niners obviously got their ass whipped by the Ravens. This time around, I don't think Brock Purdy would throw 4 interceptions. And I think it'll be a significantly closer game. But I think the experience of the Ravens, and I think the impact from both sides of the ball is going to be more impactful than the Niners' defense and offense. Just enough. I think both offense and defense will do just enough on both sides to be able to stop the Niners enough on both sides. I just don't know that there's a more complete team than the Baltimore Ravens right now. But I will say this is going to be like a 60-40, 55-45 kind of matchup where it's just so close. There's going to be no way to predict the outcome in a way that is accurate because anything could happen. I mean, honestly, both defenses could decide to just show up and dominate. Both offenses could decide to show up and dominate. You can get a mixture of both. You're going to see great performances out of Lamar Jackson. You're going to see great performances out of Christian McCaffrey and co. Like, it's just going to be one hell of a matchup, and I would look forward to this probably the most out of all possible matchups. And I don't even know if there's ever been playoffs to where both first-round bye teams, both conference-winning teams, met in the Super Bowl. I don't know if there's ever been that recently. I know past like 3 or 4 years there hasn't been that once, but if there was ever a year where I say, damn, yeah, both teams are gonna definitely meet in the Super Bowl, it would be these two teams. The Ravens and the Niners, though, to be honest, are just a tier above the rest of the teams. We'll see how it goes in the playoffs, though. 1 interception can change it. 2 interceptions can change it. Momentum can change anything. So it might not even be these two, but I would pick the Ravens if these two did meet. I think the Ravens, regardless, will win the Super Bowl. Like, I said it in a power ranking of mine. I expected great things out of the Ravens. It was like in week 7 or week 6. I said they should at least make the conference championship. And now that we're past week 18, I really think that they'll win the Super Bowl. As long as all guys can stay healthy, of course. You know, if a Niner situation happens like last year where the quarterbacks get hurt, we never know what could happen. But this is my list. This is my prediction. Let me know what you guys think. What do you think will happen? Honestly, I'm looking forward to the playoffs. Please, Cowboys, please just don't choke and just show out. Give your best. If you lose, you lose. But don't lose because you shot yourselves in the foot. I just hate that. But as always, I appreciate you guys for watching. This is Ollie Been Different. We've been different. And we out.